Meghan Markle crashed Valentino Garavani's funeral in Rome uninvited, with entourage and big camera crew to film for her image rehab. Security booted her fast. Respect for the dead, just her brand. Utterly classic.
How Meghan Markle didn't get an invite to the private funeral in Rome? That, my friends, is the wrong story. The real story is that her private outreach became public, and that only happens when the room wants you exposed and not included, which is bad news for Meghan Markle.
Meghan Markle recently faced a very public setback. An online chatter says it clearly caught her off guard. At the same time, Prince Harry was attending a formal legal hearing in London, drawing heavy media attention, while Meghan appeared focused on a separate personal objective, according to public discussion. Based on widely shared media talk, Meghan was reportedly reaching out to fashion world contacts, hoping to be included in a high-profile memorial event in Rome honoring legendary designer Valentino Garavani.
I remember going to the press conference when the restoration of the castle was finished, and it was announced that it had been done within the budget, within the time. The press was so disappointed.
Multiple entertainment commentators claimed these outreach attempts did not lead to an invitation, which quickly became a topic of online buzz and industry gossip. Now, several Hollywood-focused outlets are breaking down what they describe as a calculated but unsuccessful social move. Commentators stress this wasn't just about attending a single event, but about how Meghan's broader post-royal image strategy may be facing new obstacles in elite fashion and celebrity circles.
Meghan Markle is in California with her wanting to be in the UK husband, trying to get back to the UK. But what is so alarming to me is how Meghan continues to want to create these ripples in these other areas and parts of the world, as she did a few days ago.
Here's how public reports describe the situation. On January 19, 2026, the global fashion community began honoring Valentino Garavani's long-standing legacy and influence after news emerged from Rome about his passing at age 93, a moment that prompted tributes across the industry. Shortly afterward, unverified reports suggest Meghan privately contacted individuals connected to Valentino's professional circle with the hope of being present among top-tier guests. According to these same reports, observers online felt the outreach seemed more strategic than ceremonial. The invitation-only memorial service, held on January 23rd at the Basilica of Santa Maria del Popolo in Rome, was expected to attract a highly exclusive group of designers, editors, actors, and public figures, along with a large public gathering honoring the designer's work and cultural impact.
Hard to tell you why I cannot stand Meghan Markle so much. After all, there are a lot of know-nothing, attention-seeking former actresses in this world. Part of it is because I do love the UK so much, and I think we effectively exported our worst cultural asset to hurt their royal family. And the other part of it, though, is the way that the media has always lapped up her obviously false claims and fed into her delusions of grandeur, which culminated in her and her husband, Prince Harry.
Public discussion also points out that Meghan has not previously been a regular presence at Valentino runway events or within the brand's close-knit professional network. While she has worn Valentino designs in the past, fashion analysts note that this alone does not place someone inside an elite inner circle.
They have no idea where this came from, and as I told you and your producers—
I bet it came from Meghan's team. I bet you anything it came from Meghan's team. Come on.
Absolutely.
Back in October 2025, Meghan Markle reportedly made waves at Paris Fashion Week, and not quietly. According to online fashion commentary, she appeared at the Balenciaga show after directly reaching out to the brand's creative leadership, with insiders later confirming she pushed hard to be included. That experience seemingly set a pattern, because sources say she expected a similar strategy to work again later.
Prince Harry nearly broke down in tears in court today, weeping about Meghan Markle's misery. And he was told to stop arguing back by the judge. While Prince Harry was giving evidence in his privacy claim against the publisher of the Daily Mail and the Mail on Sunday in the High Court today.
Public discussion suggests Meghan believed she could repeat that approach when it came to the Rome memorial event honoring Valentino. She reportedly attempted to lean on her past connection to Pier Paolo Piccioli, Valentino's former creative director from 2008 to 2024. This time, however, fashion world observers say the response was firm and final, with no invitation extended.
Meghan Markle has always wanted to be an A-lister, not adjacent, not inspired by. She wants to be on the inside, but she genuinely believed that marrying into royalty meant that she could simply just inherit elite status and that everybody would just swing the door open for her. Because the highest circles in Hollywood, royalty, fashion, finance, legacy power, it doesn't matter, your HR department, it will operate under one unbreakable rule. What happens on the inside stays on the inside, and everybody's hush-hush. Nobody talks about it. Nobody hints about it. Nobody has a source close to will say that they know about it.
According to widely shared reports, this was not a quiet situation handled behind the scenes. The memorial on January 23rd went forward without Meghan in attendance, and the guest list spoke for itself. Anne Hathaway delivered a respectful tribute, while well-known figures like Tom Ford, Donatella Versace, Anna Wintour, and Elizabeth Hurley were all present. Meghan, however, was notably absent, which online commentators quickly pointed out. Entertainment outlets also claimed that private outreach attempts became public through leaks, sparking intense online debate.
Seth Doan looks now at Valentino's impact on fashion.
His last name was Garavani, but just Valentino was enough to signal elegance, glamour, and that Italian style. Celebrities and royals were among his many muses, red carpets his stages, and that scarlet, or was it poppy, was a signature, his seductive Valentino red.
I love beauties, I love making women sensational, glamorous, elegant.
Reports fueled commentary suggesting the effort appeared overly persistent, especially given the exclusivity of the event and the tight-knit nature of the fashion circle involved. Meanwhile, Prince Harry was in London between January 21 and 22, attending scheduled court proceedings related to a long-running privacy dispute with a major newspaper group. The case focused on articles published between 2001 and 2013, well before Meghan entered his life, a detail repeatedly emphasized during the hearings. Observers noted that the courtroom atmosphere was tense at times. Reports say Harry frequently expanded beyond direct answers, prompting the presiding judge to remind him to focus strictly on the questions presented.
The fashion designer Valentino Garavani once said he knows what women want, quote, they want to look beautiful, and he helped some of the most famous women in the world achieve exactly that goal. Valentino, as he was simply known, died today at his home in Rome. He was 93 years old.
During the hearing, observers noted that Prince Harry appeared visibly emotional, with his voice wavering as he addressed the court. He spoke about ongoing media pressure and said it had deeply affected his wife's public life, a point that immediately caught attention given the scope of the case. Commentators online quickly questioned why Meghan was being mentioned at all. The legal proceedings focused on published articles from years before she was part of his life, yet Harry repeatedly brought her into the discussion. To many watching, it reinforced the idea that her presence continues to shape how he frames events, even in formal settings.
Valentino's work, we're learning today he passed away at the age of 93. Let me start with showing you the announcement and how we heard about this, Reed. This came through on social media just within the last hour or so. It says, Valentino passed away today at his home in Rome, surrounded by his loved ones. It goes on to say that a funeral will take place in Rome at 11 a.m. in the coming days.
The stars of fashion in Hollywood pack a basilica in Rome to remember design icon Valentino. Anna Wintour, Donatella Versace, Tom Ford, Anne Hathaway among those paying their respects at Valentino's funeral today. He died on Monday at the age of 93 at his residence in Rome.
Harry also maintained that people within his personal circle never shared information with reporters. He suggested certain journalists lacked direct access, but longtime media watchers pushed back on that narrative. Publicly available photos and years of professional reporting showed long-standing familiarity between royal circles and members of the press, which critics highlighted right away.
Harry was on the defensive and very bristly and very abrasive, and the judge intervened 3 times to try and calm him down. I mean, the first time, which was the one that you showed there, he was actually quite sympathetic and he was quite like, look, this is my job. I understand that this is a big moment for you. but you're making a mistake that a lot of people make. Let me just tell you, your job now is just to answer these questions. Let your legal team answer the case. And Harry seemed to kind of go, okay, my lord, yeah, whatever. Then he carried on, then he did it again, and then he did it a third time, and it was really bad the third time. So
some online voices pointed out what they saw as a contradiction. Harry previously released an extensive memoir, openly discussing private family matters, personal messages, social events, and behind-the-scenes details. He also participated in long-form interviews in documentary projects that gave wide access to his personal story. Because of that, many observers said his courtroom claims didn't fully align with his past choices.
Prince Harry broke down in big boy tears as he gave some testimony today in his lawsuit against the Daily Mail, claiming that they have made his wife's life an absolute misery. Well, Harry, I'm sorry. Why does that have any bearing on this case at all? You're talking about articles that were written between 2001 and 2013, 3 years before you allegedly met your wife. So what does Meghan have anything to do with this trial? Well, as the answer turns out, it has everything to do with Prince Harry's motivation and his miserable existence right now, because his wife is miserable, she's making his life miserable, and everybody's living in absolute misery. And Harry only has himself to blame, because no matter if he wins this trial or not, he's still going to be miserable.
Adding to the online debate, Meghan did not attend the London hearings in person. At the same time, reports suggested she was in California focused on other engagements, a detail that quickly became part of the wider commentary cycle. For critics, that contrast raised fresh questions about priorities and public image. Longtime royal author Tom Bower has weighed in on similar dynamics before. In his book, Revenge, Meghan, Harry, and the War Between the Windsors, Bower cited interviews with dozens of individuals connected to the couple's professional world. His analysis has consistently argued that Meghan is highly focused on visibility and elite access, a view that continues to resurface as new events unfold. The Valentino memorial situation became a real-time example of how closely the fashion world watches reputation and timing. According to public commentary, industry insiders noticed outreach attempts that were seen as poorly aligned with the tone of the moment, and the response was a clear refusal.
You're done. This is why the funeral story is so damaging to her. Because here's why this Valentino funeral situation is not just embarrassing for her. It's a career-defining moment, in my opinion, because funerals are sacred territory in elite circles, not just elite circles, in everybody's circle. Especially if you have, a close-knit family and you're like, oh yeah, that blah, 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 everybody's very close-knit. But the moment that you see somebody that's not supposed to be there, everybody's like, why are they here? You know what I mean? Everything is handled silently when it comes to funerals, when it comes to elite circles, privately and respectfully, because that's the way people function. If Meghan Markle truly was part of this inner circle, think about it. She wants to be part of it. She thinks she is. She's a wannabe. This is one of two things that would have happened.
For many observers, this moment symbolized a wider disconnect between intent and reception. Author Tom Bower has openly shared his perspective on this pattern, and his assessment has been blunt. He has stated that, in his view, long-term success in creative and lifestyle spaces depends on genuine skill and credibility, qualities he argues cannot be manufactured or rushed. Similar conclusions have appeared in media discussion about Meghan's entertainment projects. Reports claim that major streaming executives invested early with experienced producers, large budgets, and broad creative freedom. Despite those resources, commentators noted that the output failed to strongly resonate with wide audiences, leading to quieter momentum than expected. Bower has often emphasized one defining factor behind successful lifestyle figures: authenticity. He points to personalities who built trust by being consistent and relatable over time. Figures like Martha Stewart are frequently cited as examples of slow, steady growth, rooted in perceived sincerity and hands-on involvement. Other well-known names are also part of this comparison. Ina Garten's rise from a small specialty shop to a household brand is often highlighted as organic and experience-driven.
It is a lot of fun to see so much of the royal family and in such a strategic way to where we're learning a little bit more about them, but really their mission is to get these important causes out there.
We had to be creative, but today you click your fingers and you've got all these platforms beating a path to the doorway of Buckingham Palace or Kensington Palace saying, yeah, we'll make it.
Even Gwyneth Paltrow, despite frequent criticism, is widely seen as having a distinct voice that sparks strong reactions, positive or negative. In contrast, critics argue that Meghan's public image feels overly structured. Online discussion suggests audiences today quickly notice presentation that feels rehearsed rather than natural. That perception, fair or not, has followed her across industries. Bauer has also claimed that Prince Harry often frames situations through Meghan's perspective. Observers of the recent court hearing pointed out how frequently her experiences were referenced, even when not central to the case. Tom Bauer's predictions about Meghan's streaming future are now being heavily discussed online, with many commentators saying his outlook has largely matched what unfolded. He previously suggested that major platforms would eventually step back, that lifestyle-focused content would struggle to connect, and that audiences would grow tired of a repeated personal narrative. Publicly available performance rankings quickly became part of the conversation. Meghan's lifestyle series reportedly placed very low among overall platform titles, drawing only a modest number of views over several months. Online creators with far smaller budgets were noted as pulling in similar or higher numbers on a regular basis, which critics highlighted immediately. The holiday-themed special also ranked far down the list, which industry watchers described as disappointing for someone marketed as having global reach. According to entertainment analysts, it didn't take long for executives to reassess expectations around the deal, with several insiders claiming the content simply failed to spark sustained interest. Commentators didn't hold back in their opinions. Online critics described the on-screen presence as stiff and overly controlled, saying it lacked warmth or relatability. Bauer summarized this by arguing that the presentation felt more like performance than everyday reality, a critique that gained traction as viewership numbers circulated. He also previously pointed to a potential Paris Fashion Week backlash, though even supporters admit the reaction was stronger than expected. In October 2025, Meghan shared nighttime footage from Paris filmed while riding through well-known city landmarks, highlighting a glamorous travel moment. However, online discussion quickly turned critical due to the symbolic weight attached to one specific location shown in the clip, a place widely associated with a major historical event connected to the royal family. Viewers felt the casual tone of the post clashed with the site's significance, sparking intense debate. Reports suggested the reaction within royal circles was tense, with critics arguing the moment reflected a lack of awareness rather than intentional provocation. According to author Tom Bauer, the situation becomes increasingly complicated when finances are examined more closely. Public discussion around the couple has shifted towards questions about spending, sustainability, and long-term planning, especially after several high-profile projects failed to gain traction. Media commentators claim that large sums were invested into ventures that did not deliver expected returns, while fixed expenses reportedly remain extremely high. Observers point to property costs, security, and lifestyle commitments as factors that continue to apply pressure, sparking widespread speculation about whether their current model is financially viable. Legal matters have also drawn attention. Analysts note that Prince Harry's ongoing court cases carry financial risk, as unfavorable outcomes in high-level media disputes can sometimes result in substantial legal costs. While outcomes remain uncertain, commentators say the potential exposure alone has added to public concern about future stability. At the same time, relationship dynamics have become a frequent topic of debate. Some royal watchers suggest Harry may be seeking stronger ties with the UK again, framing it as a desire for grounding rather than conflict. These discussions echo themes Bauer raised years ago about planning, direction, and long-term consequences. Critics argue that many recent choices appear driven more by visibility than by substance. According to online analysis, access to elite spaces requires more than appearances. It demands consistent work, credibility, and genuine contribution, qualities audiences increasingly expect. Despite setbacks, Meghan is still described as actively pursuing high visibility moments. Commentators say her focus remains centered on image, presentation, and being seen in exclusive environments, while others in the industry quietly build reputations through output rather than optics. Social media behavior has been dissected. Reports suggest posts are carefully structured, from wardrobe to framing, yet many viewers describe the result as overly polished. In today's culture, critics argue that presentation without perceived authenticity rarely connects. Bauer has long claimed that Meghan holds significant influence over shared decisions, from public appearances to business moves. Observers of recent legal proceedings pointed to how often her perspective surfaced, even when not central to the matter. Recent public discussion suggests tens of millions were invested into creative projects that failed to gain lasting traction, and that reality is now hard to ignore. Commentators point out that maintaining an ultra-luxury lifestyle comes with constant costs, from property upkeep to travel and high-profile appearances, and those expenses continue to stock up fast. In fashion and entertainment circles, observers say Meghan has faced growing resistance. According to industry chatter, attempts to step into elite spaces through networking alone have not always landed well, with insiders describing her position as still outside the core circles she appears to be targeting. These efforts, critics argue, have sometimes produced the opposite effect, drawing attention without delivering long-term credibility. Meanwhile, other public figures are seen steadily building momentum through consistent work, clear talent, or natural charm. Analysts say Meghan's strategy leans heavily on presentation and visibility, but optics alone can only carry someone so far. As a result, her public image has started to show strain, something both supporters and critics are openly discussing. Online audiences have pointed out recurring patterns. Carefully staged moments, polished appearances, and tightly managed expressions are frequently noted, leading some viewers to describe the overall impression as overly rehearsed. In today's media climate, that kind of approach often triggers skepticism rather than excitement. Tom Bauer's long-standing commentary about perceived charisma gaps has resurfaced in these conversations. He has argued that true audience connection cannot be engineered, only earned over time. Even smaller-scale projects, according to reports, struggled to resonate despite generous budgets and creative freedom. As financial momentum slows and projects struggle to gain traction, public discussion suggests pressure is building in both professional and personal areas of their lives. Ongoing legal matters, stalled deals, and steady public criticism are stacking up, creating what observers describe as a difficult balancing act that's becoming harder to manage. Industry commentators warn that without a clear shift in direction, long-term finances, reputation, and cultural influence could face serious challenges. In high-level entertainment and social circles, ambition and image can open doors, but insiders often stress that those things only take you so far without consistent delivery and real connection. Many analysts say this situation highlights a larger lesson. Attention, wealth, and visibility don't guarantee lasting relevance. Without authenticity and the ability to connect naturally, even global exposure can fade fast, and critics argue that reality is now setting in. Public discussion also points to diverging personal goals. Some observers believe Prince Harry appears interested in repairing long-standing family relationships, while Meghan is seen as aiming for greater Hollywood visibility. According to commentators, she continues to pursue fashion events, red carpets, and elite invitations, goals that don't always align with stepping back from public life. Tom Bauer has spoken about this tension before, suggesting conflicting priorities can quietly drain momentum. He once noted that public indifference, not outrage, is often the true turning point. Many online now say that shift has already happened. Critics argue people aren't reacting emotionally anymore. Instead, engagement has cooled and interest feels muted. When viewed from a wider angle, commentators say the fashion world rejection became symbolic. Recent court coverage placed Prince Harry under intense public scrutiny, with commentators noting moments of visible strain as the proceedings unfolded. Online observers pointed out references to his wife surfaced repeatedly, which quickly became a talking point across media discussions. For critics following author Tom Bowers' long-running commentary, these moments felt familiar. Many now claim his earlier forecasts are lining up with recent outcomes, especially across entertainment and media ventures. Several high-profile partnerships have quietly ended, and planned projects failed to gain long-term momentum, reinforcing a pattern analysts have been tracking for some time. Industry chatter suggests that doors once expected to open have instead remained firmly shut. Fashion and Hollywood circles are widely described as selective, and repeated attempts to secure access through visibility alone have not always been well received. Observers argue that invitations are earned through long-standing relationships and contribution, not just name recognition. Online discussion frequently highlights what critics see as a recurring approach. Meghan is described as actively positioning herself around elite events, from fashion weeks to high-profile ceremonies, yet reports suggest these efforts often result in rejection rather than acceptance. To many commentators, the pattern feels increasingly obvious. At the center of this discussion is a perceived mismatch in long-term goals. Analysts suggest Prince Harry appears more focused on personal repair and stability, while Meghan is seen as continuing to pursue Hollywood relevance and fashion world prestige. According to Bowers' past analysis, those opposing directions were always likely to create strain. Commentators now argue that public interest has shifted from curiosity to indifference. With streaming projects underperforming and elite circles keeping their distance, critics claim Meghan's Hollywood ambitions are losing momentum fast. Public attention around Meghan and Harry has reached an uncomfortable peak, and observers say the contrast couldn't be sharper. While Meghan is described in online discussion as actively seeking access to elite spaces, Prince Harry's courtroom appearances have played out under intense global scrutiny, becoming a spectacle dissected across international media. Commentators noted moments of visible strain during the hearings, with Harry repeatedly referencing his wife, which many felt distracted from the legal focus of the case. The exchanges drew widespread attention and fueled debate about public perception, strategy, and whether the couple's approach is helping or hurting their image. Across entertainment and fashion circles, critics now openly question the strength of their shared brand. Former partnerships have faded, new opportunities appear limited, and industry insiders describe hesitation rather than excitement. To many analysts, the issue isn't speculation anymore, it's momentum, and that momentum appears to be slowing fast. The larger conversation has shifted. Instead of asking if things might unravel, commentators are asking how far the decline could go before public interest fully cools. Each new headline, project, or public moment seems to reinforce the same storyline. Visibility without connection doesn't last. Some online voices are even debating deeper questions. Are we watching two people pulled in completely different directions? Is this the gradual fading of a Hollywood ambition that never fully landed? Those questions are now everywhere. One constant remains. Author Tom Bowers' long-standing analysis continues to resurface as events unfold in real time, with many saying recent developments echo his earlier warnings. Now it's your turn. What do you think is really happening here? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this breakdown gave you a new perspective, make sure to like the video, subscribe for more deep dives like this, and share it with someone who follows this story. See you on the next one.